37.42. In Shanghai, they were also in a negative 37.60, and that is a Thursday there. The Dow on Thursday, 211.86. The tech-laden NASDAQ at 48.39. The Merck at 21.01. In São Paulo on Thursday, they were in the negative 67.20. In Mexico, also on Thursday at 742.82. And move to the commodities here as we round out this Numbers Man report. And this is on Thursday. Brent crude was up $2.47 at 56.63. The spot was up 10 cents at 56.36. West Texas crude at even $50 was up $1.73. T-Boone Pickens jumping for joy. He literally remembers $15 a barrel oil. The Dubai, we finally got it back today for gold futures on Thursday at $1,263.80 there. And if we look at the Forex, what we've been giving, it was down $9.25 at $1,259.25. So those are two future markets there. That's an ounce. And let's see who else we'll grab here. Corn futures were up $1.75. Soybean futures, that's on a bushel there. We're up $9.25. Sorry about that. Soybean futures were up $1.12. Cocoa was up $13. Coffee futures were down $9. They've sort of been going up and down. White sugar futures were up 80 cents. Oh, well, I guess we have to do something here. And the Bloomberg Commodities Index was up 0.87 at 102.48. And this is from the BBC. And that is where the commodities lie. And this will end our iHeart version. And we'll be back this week with the other version, which is the one we do that originates on other platforms over at Blog Talk. And we'll wrap up the latest job figures from the U.S. And listeners there will hear some of this. And, of course, they'll hear a new update as far as the markets are concerned. We'll throw a few other things in. One of the things we've been looking at is a study, and we've talked about this before, unemployment, compensation across many states. Interesting study there. We'll talk more about that probably in our next report. Spend about 5 or 10 minutes. We've talked about it before. The basic argument there, do you extend unemployment benefits to people? Is it a disincentive or an incentive? And it's part of what civilized countries have been doing for quite some time. Let's see if I can find well, the study is here, but we'll just, unemployment has changed, unemployment benefits haven't changed, and this is something from Nate Silver and Company. They highlight a woman named Michelle Wilson, lost her job at a Baltimore logistics company in July. Unemployment benefits provided her with a vital lifeline, $430 a week. The payments didn't come close to replacing her $47,000 annual salary, but it did allow her to pay her rent and utilities and make a monthly car payment while looking for a job. Last week, however, the lifeline disappeared 6 months after she lost her job. She's now dodging collectors, etc., etc. You go online, you see all these jobs that are posted, but when you apply for them, you never hear back. Well, that's been a constant drumming story. Wilson, stories like her used to be rare, especially outside of recession. But now we have 3 million Americans who have been out of work for more than 6 months. That's what they call long-term unemployed there. That's down from a peak of 6.8 million in the Depression. Moreover, the problem appears to be at least partially structural. The amount of time a typical person remains out of work has trended upwards for decades. And this is where we'll talk about this there. President Obama has laid out some proposals, and the elements of his proposal are rooted in a bill proposed last year by Senator Thune. He's a Republican of South Dakota. Most of the recommendations have, of course, a little chance there, and we're kind of jumping over this. But what we want to talk about is how far out of step is the unemployment system. New report from the National Employment Law Project. We'll talk a little about only 27% of unemployment workers received jobless benefits in 2014, the lowest percentage there. And one major reason fewer jobless are receiving benefits. The period of unemployment are lasting longer, but unemployment benefits are less. In North Carolina, made by slashing the number of weeks available to this residence to 20. Missouri is poised to set the bar even lower at 13. The programs get chipped away at year after year there, and this is causing part of the problem. Now, what we'll be exploring is, as the employment law project is wanting to expand benefits, others are trying to roll them back. The unemployment system is in part a solution to long-term employment crisis. Conservative critics see, but part of the cause. Recent studies from conservative-leaning economists argue that emergency unemployment benefits offered during the Depression worsened the case. Now, working people, and we've got this from the University of Oslo, Marcus Herndon, and 2 authors concluded that the expiration of emergency benefits at the end of 2013 led to the creation of 1.8 million jobs in the U.S. Well, he could try telling that to people that would have starved to death otherwise. Economists have long known that unemployment benefits represent a trade-off. Laid-off workers get a cushion until they can find a new job. But because of the cushion, some of them might not look as hard, or might be picky about their jobs. We talked about this debate for a very, very long time. And we'll get into a little bit more of this on Bostonred, because it is a political situation. And from the National Review and others, Wilson, the unemployed logistics worker in Baltimore, said benefits just don't make it easier to survive while looking for a job. They make the search easier. And how she asked, how could she get a job if her car is repossessed? I guess it's sort of like we did a story on a fellow out of Michigan, the Detroit area, that walked about 20 miles a day to some sort of factory job. He didn't do it all at once. He took a bus, he walked, got a ride from an investment banker, and evidently people put together a fund. His car had just stopped performing to get him another car. So I don't know now if he's got a car or not. We'll have to follow that story up. But anyway, that is a debate we'll be looking at, and we'll look at the Oslo study and the various machinations around it. Nonetheless, this is Numbers Man. We'll talk to you soon. For those in business, make the next week a productive one for the consumer. Obviously, from the PMIs, from Germany to France to The U.S., the indications are that the consumer is keeping their eye on the ball. Interesting little anecdotal thing here. The holiday buying season, I think we covered this last week, put UPS and some in a bind. What had happened in 2013 was that UPS had not planned for the number of people that were shipping, so millions of parcels were left scattered all over the U.S. Thus, this time around, they had updated their system, put extra money into it, and hired extra workers. But unfortunately for them, what the retailers did was they started the holiday season early. They put out their little promotions, the same situation in Germany. And that's the whole point we're trying to make. The situation is the same across virtually all of these countries, particularly in Germany. So the promotions themselves cut into the profitability. But in the U.S., what happened was a few days of the promotions, the consumers got the 50 or 60 or whatever they buy today is on the TVs. And that was the end of it. They bought everything they needed, and they were not seen in the stores after the Turkey Day holiday. They were gone, missing in action. The retailers kept the doors open. The Amazons of the world shipped the specials. I watched a lot of those specials were there. I think they had a Windows phone for $20, and it was up to $30, and I think it's still maybe at $30. But there weren't a lot of buyers. So the whole thing was a lot of these things were cut 10 or 15%, but not what we used to see over holiday shopping. So the consumers got the big buys. The problem was you had to run from store to store to find the TV sets, because normally only maybe one was offered. Talked to one fellow, he couldn't get the big one. So he got a smaller size at reduced price, because basically the situation is they have a price point, and I forget what the price point was, but we'll say $500, probably was $450 or something like that. But no matter the size of the TV, they stick to the same price point. So one day it could be a 40-inch, a 50-inch, or whatever there, and that's what they're pushing that day. So the lesser screen models you can get cheaper, and that's what the consumers did. So therefore, they were sort of, as they say, out of luck on that. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you later.